Will preheating your thermos give you hotter coffee for longer? Let's find out. Hey everyone, so one of the things I'm curious about is I've always preheated my thermos with hot water before pouring in my coffee because I just assumed that it would make the thermos hot, and then when the coffee goes in it'll stay hotter for longer. A lot of people just open up the thermos and pour their coffee straight in, so I'm curious to see how much of a difference it would make by preheating the thermos. So let's do some experimenting. We'll try preheating and we'll try just pouring coffee in and we'll see what the temperatures are. So let's check it out. All right, so we have about 12 cups of water. We're just going to turn this on and let it run. Alright, so our coffee pot is done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the thermos and we're going to take some temperatures and then we're going to pour the water in there and see what it does. So I'm going to use this meat thermometer because it's the only thing I have, and it's got a digital readout. I'm just going to touch it to the inside of this thermometer, or touch it to the inside of the thermos. So basically it's still dropping. So this thermos has just been sitting inside with the lid on, just like anybody else would be storing it. So as you can see, the metal is kind of cold. It's dropping 67, 68 degrees. So let's pour our coffee in there and see what happens. Okay, so our coffee is about 177 degrees going in to a room temperature thermos. All right, we're going to put the lid on this and then we're going to set it outside. All right, here we go. I'm going to set the thermos out. It's outside, it's in the evening. This is January in Oregon, so pretty typical. It's not raining today, but current temperature is 42 degrees outside. It is currently 4:09. So we're just gonna let this thermos sit out here for at least a couple of hours. And this would be basically replicating if you're out in the boat or out in the duck blind, or just packing a thermos around with you while you're fishing and you're just kind of laying it outside. Obviously you can insulate these things better if you leave it in a backpack or under your seat in the boat or something like that, but just for this we're just going to keep it consistent. We're just going to set it outside and 42 degrees for a couple hours. We'll see what the temperature is like in a couple hours. So it's 38 degrees currently and it is 7:02, so it's been right at 3 hours. Here's our thermos. Feels pretty cold. Feels pretty cold. So we're gonna go inside, we're gonna open it up and we're gonna check out the temperature. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take the cap off. Screw the cap. All right, 66 degrees. And So currently 167, and that's without opening the lid at all. So if you imagine if you're outside and you open this thing up a couple of times to pour a cup of coffee, it would have dropped even more. So it dropped it about 10 degrees. Alright you guys, so there's our first part of our experiment. We got it emptied out. Gonna let that cool overnight, and then we'll put it back together, and then tomorrow we'll do another test, but this time we're going to preheat the thermos before we put the coffee in, and we'll see how that does. Alright guys, so we're at the next day. So we have everything set up here. I got my thermos. It's just been sitting out. So this is what I'm going to do. Actually, this is a electric tea kettle, and then I have my coffee pot here. And so actually what I'm going to do is, before I get the coffee pot set up, I'm going to take my thermos and I'm actually going to turn this on. So now I have my electric tea kettle on, set to boil. This will get up to boiling point, which I think is 212 degrees. We're going to pour this in, and then we're going to start our coffee pot and make a pot of coffee. So we're going to pour this into the thermos, heat the inside of the thermos up before the coffee's ready. Basically, we're going to preheat before we put our coffee in the thermos. Water is boiling. There we go. Okay. We're going to pour our boiling water into the thermos. So now that temperature of the water is 206. I'm just going to put this lid on. I'm not going to screw it down super tight. I'm going to leave it kind of loose because I just want it to heat in there. I don't want it to create a vacuum. Alright, that's been in there for a few minutes. We're going to dump this out. We're going to pour our coffee straight in. So about 184. Okay, I'm going to put the cap on, and then just like yesterday, we're going to go set this outside for about 3 hours. Alright, there we go. We're going to set it there for about 3 hours. It's about the same temperature as yesterday. Actually, I think it's a little colder, but only by a couple degrees, so should be a good test. We're going to leave that and check on it in 3 hours. It's currently 12:54. Okay guys, here we go. It's been about 3 hours, and we'll check the temperature. So it's about 43 degrees again, so right about what it was yesterday. Let's take our thermos inside and see what the temperature is, and see if preheating it actually makes a difference. Going in. So 171. Okay, so here we go. Here's the data. The middle column is not preheated. The outer column on the right is preheated. So for both of these circumstances, the outside temperature was about the same, upper 30s to lower 40s. The starting temperature inside the thermos was room temperature. When we didn't preheat We poured the coffee straight into the 68-degree thermos. It was 177 degrees right from the get-go. We capped it, we put it outside for 3 hours, and then the ending temperature was 167 degrees, so there's a 10 degree difference. When we preheated it, the initial pour was much higher, so it was 188 degrees, but then after 3 hours, it dropped all the way to 171 degrees, which was 17 degrees difference. So in the end, it was only about a 4-degree difference between preheating and not preheating, which is pretty surprising to me because I've always been in the camp where preheating the thermos always made sense. So I don't know, I guess you have to decide for yourself whether 4 degrees is enough for you to preheat your thermos or whether you just don't even worry about it in the end. But it's pretty surprising to me to see this outcome. So what do you think? Is it worth preheating? Ending temperature wasn't that different, so I don't know. You tell me, leave a comment below and tell me whether you preheat your thermos or whether or not it matters to you. And until next time, take care.